Last time I spoke to you, you were very 50-50. You basically felt the kids need their teacher.
Yeah.
What changed your mind?
To be honest, I'm still of the view that education is the most important thing that we can give to our young people in the country. Therefore, if we're trying to deliver a world-class education, as our Education Secretary said this morning, we need to make sure that schools are properly taught and funded. But this is where I started to slowly move across the spectrum. So this morning I heard the Education Secretary on the radio talk about why she can't give a fair pay rise. She said, I think they're offering 5%. And I think the education union's asking for like 10 to 12%. And she said, we can't afford to give these because this will cause a rise in inflation, you know, that wage price spiral. But 5% is what's being offered, 10% is there. There's been no negotiation. And I think it's not just with this current education sector. We've had Nadeem Zahawi, Kip Moulton's the third one that I think in the space of like 9-10 months. And there's been no progress. And I think like...
So 5% is not enough?
It's not enough, that's the reality.
Carole, you think 5% is enough with inflation so much higher?
I should make it really clear. I think a lot of the people going on strike, and I take out train drivers here, but I think, you know, certainly the nurses, certainly the junior doctors, they should all have pay rises. But you cannot have fantasy pay rises. You cannot. The junior doctors are asking 26%.
What about Bobby?
I'm going to Bobby, you're lovely, and you're exactly the kind of teacher I wish I'd had. People don't know Bobby used to be a banker, and he gave that up to teach, which is an incredible thing. Schools should be full of people like you. But you know, you say that education is the most important thing, and yet you're supporting teachers walking out on kids. And for some kids, never mind the massive kids, but the kids that are about to do their exams. But also, I just read today that even those teachers who aren't on strike, who they couldn't get the vote, they have been told by unions not to do Zoom education to even help the kids.
Yeah, but you must feel for your pupils today.
Yeah, yes. And I think it's a case of course, for today, the students will be missing out on education. But if you're looking at the long-term impact of underfunding in the education sector, how is it impacting students' learning? I'd say there's two things. One is because teachers, people are thinking about the profession, it's actually massively impacting recruitment in the profession. The government's own stats said that 40% of secondary school subjects face a significant under-application in terms of teachers per subject. And then secondly, in terms of retention, if you want to keep people in the profession, 1/3 of teachers leave within 5 years. So these are people that have been trained by the sector.
Yeah, but if you've got spare money, do you give it to teachers as a pay rise, or do you use it to buy books and blackboards and whatever else?
I think you can't divorce teacher pay from the quality of teaching, because whilst resources, classrooms, they're all...
You left banking to be a teacher. You didn't do it for money.
But Bobby, you know, the teachers have been guaranteed now by this government a 30 grand starting salary, which is not bad for a starting salary. Nurses are 20-something in the low 20s. That's not a bad...
Kevin wants to come in.
Yeah, Carole, you reminded of those people who clapped NHS workers and carers and key workers and then slapped them with pay cuts. Why should Bobby have to work and sees living standards fall time after time? That's what this is about. You applaud him, but then you want him to work on the cheap and suffer it. And you know, Bobby, there was a particular problem getting maths teachers like you. And one of the problems at recruitment is because the wages are low and the conditions are tough. Whatever people like Carole say about holidays, you know you will work during a lot of it. You look at the NHS. There's something like 100,000 vacancies in the NHS because the wages haven't kept pace.